Hey guys, what's up? Zoid Bergenstein here, and we're back with another episode of my Wargaming eSports show. This was a pretty awesome week. Not so much for my team. We did end up losing a match, but I was really worried that a lot of my predictions last week had blowouts. As it turned out, not a lot of blowouts in the league, it being a really cool week. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go over what happened last week in the WGLNA. As you can see over here, High Voltage came out against 07 with a massive showing. 07, who had been undefeated up to that point, losing 5-0. High Voltage, like I've been saying, really a team that people need to fear. They're going to be pretty good. Next match, Team Rival versus Maple Freedom. This is another one. Caught me really off guard. Team Rival picked up a very strong looking win against Synergy. Maple Freedom really hadn't done much in the league so far, but Maple Freedom came out 5-1. Team Rival showed that they were able to repeat their Silver League Championship match last season, and I'm really curious to see what Maple Freedom can do this week, whether they can take some of that ability from that match and put it in. Actually, they did play again, so we'll talk more about that in a moment. But what does that mean for Team Rival? And that's something we're going to have to talk about later. Another match that really came out and surprised me, I had eLevate beating #RU. Obviously, I play for eLevate, so I thought we were going to win. #RU looked really strong. They do actually take the #1 spot in the league after that win against us. So great games to those guys. Noble Gaming vs Team Refuse was another very big match. Noble, not having a great start to the season, was able to knock out the undefeated Team Refuse. That meant that every single undefeated team left in the league picked up a loss on July 7th. Really shocking week in the WGLNA. Moving on to the Thursday matches. I had Simp beating Synergy badly. They got a big lead. Synergy came back, tied it up, went to overtime, but Simp able to pick up the win. And I'm not sure if this was really Simp playing very well, or Synergy playing... I'm sorry, Simp not playing as well as I think they could, or Synergy playing way above the level that they played against their previous teams this season. That's going to have to be something that we find out very soon. And I'm actually going to go ahead and exit out of here. I think I actually need to sign out. There we go. Now we can get back to the show with no distractions. 07 Gaming versus I Love Lamp. 5-0. This is actually a forfeit. I Love Lamp did not show up. They were not able to play, so 07 automatically awarded their 5 wins. Kind of a disappointment. I hate seeing that happen. In the second absolutely fantastic match of the night, Game Over ends up taking Maple Freedom 5-4. And I had given Game Over a lot of flack for running a Super Pershing strategy. They came out, they were able to beat the Maple Freedom team that did beat Team Rival 5-1 in an amazing overtime match. That could spur them on to be something a little more than I've given them credit for. High Voltage came out against Team Rival. Team Rival was able to pick up 2 victories, but High Voltage just a better team right now. It's going to be tough. So that was last week. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the matches that were really important, what that means. 07 Gaming losing to High Voltage. Obviously, big loss there. High Voltage is a team that has an amazing lineup, but sometimes we question their synergy. They added to Killsword to their roster, and they came out and played very well against 07, definitely proving they're one of the top teams. Team Rival's loss to Maple Freedom was pretty big. They have picked up a win against Synergy Gaming, and Team Rival picked up a win against Synergy Gaming. Maple Freedom had not picked up a win. A lot of these new teams in the league are really struggling, trying to get their foothold, trying to prove that they're a top team. At this point in the season, I'm not sure who's going to do it. I've seen different things coming out of all of these different teams. So, we're going to have to see who can string a couple more wins together. eLevate versus #RU, obviously very big. This was a match that took eLevate from being an undefeated team and moved #RU into the #1 spot for the season. And that one was really telling. I felt like both teams actually did play well. #RU played fantastically. They were able to capitalize on small errors that eLevate made and came out with a very convincing victory, picking up the last 3 matches, or I should say, the first 3 matches on Himmelsdorf. The Noble Gaming vs Team Refuse, also very important. I know I've gone through and I've said that every single one of these matches was important, but the outcome, really huge on all of these for all these teams. Noble, very rough start to the season. Being able to take down Team Refuse, removing the final undefeated team from their undefeated spot, very important for Noble. And it could signal a slope in the wrong direction from Team Refuse. Moving on, we saw the Game Over Maple Freedom match. And this, again, so important. Any Game Over basically killed the momentum that Maple Freedom might have had. I don't know if I can predict any of these teams ending up doing well, but they did pick up a win, and that's big. So, we'll move on to this week's matches now. and there are going to be some good ones. eLevate versus Team Refuse is one that a lot of people have been sending me messages about. Team Refuse, eLevate, both being undefeated until last week. One of us has to lose this week. The team that loses is going to be on a 2-game losing streak, and losing streaks are what good teams never want to see. No team will always go without a loss here and there. Losing streaks, though, we really want to avoid that from both sides. I do end up predicting eLevate to win. I don't want to go too far into it because that's my team. I don't like to predict those, but we're going to move on. Hashtag RU versus Synergy Gaming. I see Hashtag RU as one of the top teams in the league. Synergy, while they came out against Simp, I just don't think they have what it takes to take down a Hashtag RU that's playing very, very well right now. Hashtag RU takes that 5-2. Noble Gaming versus 07, in my opinion, is going to be the most interesting match of the night. This is an incredibly important match for both these teams. Noble trying to take down another top team this season. 07 trying to bounce back. They're trying to bounce back against their 5-0 loss to High Voltage because they weren't able to play against eLevate. So very, very important match for all of them. Simp versus Maple Freedom. I have that one going 9 rounds. I think Noble takes it 5-4 against 07. Simp versus Maple Freedom. I just don't think Maple Freedom has what it takes to stand up against Simp. Simp takes this 5-1 over Maple Freedom. Moving on to Thursday, July 16th. eLevate versus Team Rival. I see Team Rival taking this 5-0. Game Over versus High Voltage Cabalers. Again, kind of a blowout here. I see High Voltage taking it over Game Over 5-0. Synergy versus eLevate. Synergy is playing better, but so is eLevate. eLevate's my team. I see eLevate taking Synergy, and we won't go into the details of why. Then we have Team Refuse versus 07 Gaming. That, I think, is going to be the best match of the night. Again, both these teams taking on a tough mid-season schedule. I have Team Refuse beating 07 Gaming, but I think it's going to be a long one. I think it's going to be 5-3. So let's take a look at the current rankings this season, because they have... Standings is actually what we want. They have changed. We've got Hashtag RU in first place with 4-1 and 12 total points. Team Refuse takes the second position with 3 wins, 1 overtime win, giving them a total of 4 wins and 1 loss. 07, same as Team Refuse with 3 wins, 1 overtime win, 1 loss. High Voltage Cabalers, 3 wins, 1 overtime loss for a total of 10 points. eLevate coming in next with 8 points with 2 wins, 1 overtime win, and 1 loss. Very, very close between all these teams right now, and it's going to be interesting to see who can come up with more wins at the end of the season and get those end land berths. Moving on from the current standings of the season, we're going to take a look at Fantasy, which is I know why a lot of you guys are here right now. Looking at the Fantasy player standings, and I thought this was really impressive. Nagatron, one of the new shoutcasters for the WGLNA, actually in first place right now. And I mentioned in my stream the other day, I think this is really awesome to see a guy like that taking the league so seriously, doing so much research that he can be up there, #1 in Fantasy. I would actually love to see him stay up there. As an employee, he won't be able to win the prize. He can't take it away from any of you guys, but I just think that's really awesome for a shoutcaster to show his knowledge of the game is that much. We did have Photo Finish jumping up a few ranks, Tofu Smurth jumping up a few ranks, and Wallhacks jumping up a few ranks. And let's see, where was the player I'm looking for? The former #1 dropped down fairly significantly, and I don't actually see him on here right now. We do see our very own G-Forcer in 17th place in the league, which I think is also fantastic. Great job, G-Forcer. My personal fantasy, we'll go ahead and take a look at this. I made some bad choices. Looking at round 6, where I really hurt myself, I had 3 players who did not play, and that was just bad on my part. Their teams played, I just failed to choose the starters. Now, the all-important group, the MLG.TV/ZoidBergenstein group. Badco takes the lead, G-Forcer in second, and Racer, who's actually in stream right now, in 3rd place. B-Ted, who's also there, in 5th place. And I, unfortunately, drop all the way down to 12th place. Still have room to come back in, you guys. Definitely think I've got you. Let's take a look at the players this week, who I'm going to pick for my team. We'll actually go over here to my team. We're going to clear the roster. Yes, clear my roster. Return to players. Now, matches that I think could go long. Every time I pick a fantasy team, I'm trying to pick players that I think are going to win, but may not win easily. We've got eLevate versus Team Refuse. I always pick 2 eLevate players. I think it's just, I always think we're going to win. We're going to take Arclet again. Arclet having a great fantasy season. Yes, add Arclet. Return to Arclet's team. Now the question is, who do we take next? And this is going to be tough. Amar Lee, Static, and Zone Delta. All very, very close. Static picking up a lot of kills. Zone picking up a lot of kills as well. And I think I might actually have to go Static. That's an interesting choice. I'm going to have to mention to those guys that I picked him up. Going to be some team drama now. So let's return to players. Looking at Team Refuse, and we're looking, let's go points per battle. That's one of the most important statistics, and Swipple actually #1 in points per battle. That's really impressive. We have Vitroxity, who does play tonight, 07, and they play against Noble. I think that's one that could go long. We're going to take Vitroxity from 07. Let's return to players. This is tough. Vitroxity we want. I'm going to take Godzilla Mode as well from #RU, who does play tonight against Synergy. I think these players are the ones that are going to go big. They're going to get their 5 wins. It's going to be a good, solid pick. Now, let's go back to players. I believe I've picked 4 total. And do I have a match? Actually, I don't need to click that. I can stay here, and I can look up here. I think I'm going to take a big simp player. We'll go with Brodus, who had a great week last week, but I think I actually want Nitz. Nitz has been higher more often recently. Brodus just had a massive game, or a massive match, which brought him up. We are going to take Nitz. Yes, add Nitz to the team. Now, let's see what we have here. We have Arclet and Static. We've got Godzilla Mode, we've got Nitz, we've got 07 Gaming. So, all of my predicted winners here. Well, actually, I did predict Noble to take a win here. Let's go pick a couple Noble players. Akula, having a great fantasy season. We're going to add Akula. Return to Akula's team. Who else is having a big season? Dodoma having a big season? I think we'll go with Dodoma, I think is actually how I say his name, not Dodoma. Dodoma. Now, my team. That's it. That's all 7 for the team. So, we take 2 players from Noble. Noble versus 07, I think, could go deep. Akula and Dodoma. Arclet and Static from eLevate, who I think are both going to have big nights. Godzilla Mode from #RU. I think Godzilla Mode is a really talented player who's been having really big games. I think he's going to do just that against Synergy. We also pick up Nitz from Simp and Vitroxity from 07. Now, let me double check. I thought I actually heard a rumor that Vitroxity might not be playing. No, Vitroxity will be playing. So, there is a rumor in an eSports channel that 2 07 players aren't going to be playing tonight. That would be Synergy 3K and Meadowhawk. So if you have those guys on your team, definitely move them off. So, these are our fantasy predictions. And I did forget one small point of coverage here. I wanted to talk about this week's most important matches, where we really need to say teams that do well or do poorly. One of the most important here is the first match of the night, and that's eLevate versus Team Refuse. Like I mentioned, going on that losing streak is a way to throw away your season and can cause major strife in these sponsored teams. eLevate really needs to pick this up and show that they're still one of the best teams after losing handily to #RU. Team Refuse, having a loss to Noble, again, has to do the same thing. Other important matches, we have the Team Refuse 07 match next week. Those 2 matches, I think, are going to be the most important of the season. Both those teams have to do really well, and if they don't, it's going to be a rough rest of the season for those guys. Anyways, guys, I do apologize for a shorter show. I didn't have as much time to prepare this week as my parents are here visiting. I do want to thank everybody for watching. Don't forget, tonight, battleviewer.com is where you can watch all these matches. You can watch eLevate at 1700 PDT. We need all you guys in there cheering. Make sure you change your names to red. Use #RedRebellion. Follow me on Twitter at ElevateZoid. Check out my YouTube, Zoid34. Head over to our website, elevate.gg, and make sure you watch tonight. I'll see you guys there.